Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where I promised no sooner than this car would return to the UK, we would be straight back on the road. We're heading today over to Germany, the race to the ring if you will. Now I have driven on the Nordschleife with my AMG GT Black Series before, but I have never driven with this car on the Nürburgring GP, and today it is open. We're here at the Eurotunnel. We're crossing over from England to France. We'll head through Belgium on our way to Germany to try and escape some of this gloomy grey weather we have here. However, we're going to the Eiffel Mountains, which is pretty famous for disastrous weather, and it's probably going to be pouring with rain later on, but hopefully we get there in time to head out for some laps today, because this car has driven quite a few tracks, quite literally around the world, in the Middle East, in the US. It's time to go and add one more, so let's make it over. A bit of the journey to Germany and then some laps later on the Nürburgring GP if we manage to get there before it's all closed up. We're literally at the Eurotunnel terminal. It's busy this morning. Quick reminder though, the GT Black Series has been, the first track I ever drove it on was the Nürburgring Nordschleife. I've driven it at Donington Park in the UK twice. It's been out to the Dubai Autodrome and Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. Plus in the United States, I drove it at Circuit of the Americas. I drove it at the Podium Club in Arizona, and I drove it at Willow Springs in California. Safe to say, this thing's quite a well-tracked beast. In fact, as you've probably seen in some of the other videos, under the boot lid here, we have some of the places it's been, the track day at Yas Marina, at Circuit of the Americas, that was the track day at Dubai Autodrome, parking at the Abu Dhabi F1 Grand Prix, a couple of other people that I've visited, but the GT Black Series has all of this luggage space. This is why I did 14,000 miles, over 20,000 kilometers in one big trip to visit 29 US states. It just shipped back over with my car import. It's basically good to go. We're also heading, because it's going to go through, perhaps even today, 20,000 miles. We're heading over to go and visit Opus, to go catch up with Lucas and let him have a look at this, because not that many fairly highly tuned cars do that many miles, and it's been about 18,000 miles since we were last here in Germany. So driving as intended, but let's make our way through, go board the train, get over to France and get cracking on with this trip to the continent. I need to address the elephant in the room that you might have spotted, but probably not. Up here, we don't have the shroud over all of the gadgetry in the windscreen. I do have a new windscreen though. There's no longer a crack through the middle of it, but I didn't do a direct replacement. So what I've put on here is actually the glass from the regular AMG GTR. The GTR, not the GT Black Series. The Black Series windscreen is even thinner, which means it's a little bit lighter. We're talking like 200 grams lighter, less than that. We're also talking it's much more vulnerable. So this should be more resilient, should be stronger. The only problem is it's also not my first windscreen change. This car had one back after doing the respray, and the guys who had fitted that had unfortunately broken a clip on this, which is the shroud, and it was glued. So when Paul from Glass Tech took the Black Series window out as soon as it had got home, he showed me that this had already been glued back on, and I kind of wanted to replace it with a new one so that it would hold properly, because it was making a little rattle. So that is the long story short as to why it doesn't have a cover over this stuff, which I'm hoping isn't a problem. It hasn't been a problem up to this point, but we should go. So noisy startup, because that was a quiet startup. I hyped it and then we didn't even get it. We'll have to wait until we get that a little bit later. But from the crossing, it's about 4 hours, 25 minutes if you go direct from the Eurotunnel in Calais over towards the Nürburgring. Hopefully it's going to be an uneventful drive through Belgium, but we know how these things go. There's also a very nice M4 that just pulled in. We were chatting to the guys who are also heading to the same destination as us, over to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. So out we head for now. Let's go board our train and make our way to a track day today, literally. We're ready to go there today. That's the thing my head's a bit confused by. We're about to board this train, but I don't think I've ever seen the platforms so empty. We go straight in here, half an hour, across to France, out the other side, as if by magic, and literally continue our drive on the other side of the road. It's funny that I bought this car right-hand drive, because probably less than 10% of its mileage has been in right-hand drive countries. The rest is almost entirely left-hand drive, Germany and other European countries, and of course the Middle East and the USA. But yeah, in the train, and we'll be out the other side very shortly. Right, time to get the loud start correct this time. Individual, let's start it up. Better, much better. It is time to drive 4.5 hours from Calais, where we are, across to Nürburgring. where literally today we're going out onto the GP. Now, obviously I've changed everything into kilometers, which this car has done a few times when we brought it over to Germany before, and also when it went out to Dubai, because Dubai and Abu Dhabi is kilometers, although the US is of course miles like we have in the UK. I started because I thought we were going, but apparently not quite yet. No, we're going now, Drive out in the high vehicles area as always to make sure that we are not going to have any issues, because a car like this is so wide, I don't think it even fits in the regular narrow vehicle section at all. But here we are out into France. Thank you very much to the team here. On we go. Well, Belgium is doing Belgium things. You cannot come here and not have disastrous weather. Hopefully we're not going to have too much traffic when we get to the Brussels and Antwerp ring roads, which are often pretty bad as you make your way through. If it's like this at the Nürburgring later, it's going to be interesting in the most British sense of the word interesting. And by that I mean really sketchy and really stupid. But of course we're going to do it anyway, because the GP isn't open all that often for Touristenfahrten. It is open today, tourist drives, public toll road rules, and you get these 15-minute sessions like buying a ticket for a Nordschleife lap. The only downside is if it's like this, well, maybe the upside is it won't be very busy. Obviously I want to tick off another famous venue destination that this car has driven, so that's the aim. Well, not a whole lot has actually changed since the last update. We've driven through France and Belgium and the Netherlands. We're now in Germany on the Autobahn, but the weather has been like this the entire way. The whole drive has just been abysmal. This kind of weather where if you're trying to follow another car in front of you, you just can't see anything. That was the welcome to Germany message. We've only recently crossed the border. If it was clear and dry, in a car like this on the Autobahn, we would now be able to stretch the legs a little bit more, whereas as it is, it's not the time or place to do so. We're actually on Cup 2s in here. I took off the standard Cup 2Rs that you normally have on the GT Black series because I was driving it in the US over winter, so those tyres were completely destroyed and shredded up in Utah. We've had a few sets since because I changed the full set at Envision, in fact, where this hoodie is from, but then I had a puncture in Arizona, so I had to change the fronts again as well when we were in Scottsdale. So yeah, I mean, even slower speed limit added for the day because of this. Not a whole lot one can do about that. One thing that I find really quite interesting though about having changed the tyres is that the Speedo actually overreads quite aggressively. If you don't already know, I know a lot of people don't, speedometers in cars have to legally never read under what you're doing, so they nearly always overread, and obviously that depends on the diameter of your tyres and the wheels and a whole load of other speed sensors and setups. But in here, it's a 100 km/h limit. We're going 99 on the GPS, 104 on the dashboard, so it's about 5% out. Take it up to 105 and it'll be about 100 exactly, which is kind of odd, but obviously it's a slightly narrower tyre. They're actually the tyres that you'd normally have on the regular GTR, so the same tyres that I have on the, or have had on the GTR, GTR Roadster, GTR Pro, and on the SLS Black Series, as it happens. On this, they're slightly wider front and rear, 335 at the back, and I think 285 at the front, 325 and 275. Now, anyway, enough waffle. We're in Germany. It's a cruise from here, only about an hour and a quarter to go to get to the Nürburgring, and then whatever the weather, we're going to give it a go, if it's open, and we can. This is always exciting. We're about to arrive. In fact, we go under parts of it, just here. Drop the gear. Tell you what, this is slippy today. We've got traction fully on. This is going to be really, really slippy. At least it's not absolutely pouring down cats and dogs at the moment. That's certainly one thing that at least slightly helps. We were here not all that long ago with some laps for the GT500 and the Emira, and of course we were here with the Zenvo as well during the Easter weekend, which is always a whole lot of fun and crazy and carnage. But we're going to go past the Nürburgring sign on the boulevard. We will basically go and drop all of our stuff off from the car, and then I think pretty much go lower some tyre pressures. Well, maybe not too much even, because of the fact that, yeah, it's a little bit slippy and we're not going to be heavy on the brakes or the cornering speeds, but line ourselves up and go straight out for the GP sessions, assuming that it's open. It is around this way, so from time to time the GP is open for TF outings. The Nordschleife is open as well at the moment, and I am going to have another run out with this car while we're here. I'm also going to need to add some stickers to the boot. It has to be done, right? I have to go to the shop and pick up some of those. But the GP entrance is actually around here. That's a 959. Wow. I wonder if he's been lapping it. How cool is that? Someone's here with a 959. We've just seen a couple of new GT3 RSs, the usual swarm of very nice Porsches. I believe there was a Porsche track day today, in fact. So, we've made it to the ring. There's still some daylight, even if the weather conditions are less than ideal, which means we can go straight into doing a lap, and it's kind of crazy to think about that. You get here, on the same day you've left from home, you can go out and drive. Nice Focus RS, just over my shoulder. Go out and drive and do a lap with one of these sessions. So we will go this way, then you enter through the historic paddock entrance here by the Dorrent Hotel, and we'll go through, blip the car, line up in the pit lane, and shortly thereafter it is going to be lap time. Lowered tyre pressures a little bit, nothing crazy because that would arguably be pointless in these conditions, but enough that we can have some fun, see where we're at, and maybe do a second stint afterwards if all is going well. We are now here in the pit lane at the Nürburgring GP, track number 8 for my GT Black Series, coming right up. I'm not sure how long they are going to hold us here for before it's going to be time to go out for our session. The car in front actually just closed his doors, so perhaps it's more imminent than I expect, or maybe they just think that the weather is so nasty nobody wants to be hanging here. I can hear people on track. If you can hear people on track, that means we're not about to go. They are going to be cleared off the track. They always do a little inspection first. But given it's Touristenfahrten, the interesting thing here is this is a public toll road. That means you drive on the right, overtake on the left. It just happens to be around what is otherwise used on different days as a race circuit. Of course, they hold the N24 here. They hold, that's actually coming up next weekend. They hold all sorts of things, and we're going to be driving it as TF very shortly. It is time. Into gear. We're in Sport Plus to begin. The last time I drove here was not very long ago in an AMG 1, and the conditions on the day started a bit as they are now. Thankfully it dried up and I got another run a little bit later on. That was of course a completely private test day for AMG. In front of me is a very track prepped E46 M3 full cage whole setup, but let's just, understeering already. Wow, oversteering. Sport Plus is of course a little bit in terms of intervention from the traction control. We're driving with some friends. I'm going to let them go past first. Some friends of Brad driving the RS4 and the Supra, so let's it's so slippy. I've driven here in the wet before and it's just the experience and a half. So wet lines, very, very late on any corners, little bit blind to what might be beside me, but let's just have a little bit of fun and see where this takes us. Obviously traction completely intervening in every possible way as we come towards the downhills, and this is where I'm going to have to watch the brakes in these conditions so much. This is fascinating. How, understeering there. There's so little grip. There's so little grip, but it makes for the most interesting experience. This is crazy. This is genuinely crazy. Just looking back a little bit as we come down the hill. This is where my fear is to go straight on by mistake. Everyone is easing into this so much. How can you blame people? Because it's not a normal driving experience like this. Okay, let's start warming up a little bit more up the hill. Loads and loads of power in here. Get comfortable with everything that we're doing. Goodness me, if I just touch a bit more power, the car is just like, no. All of the pops, bangs and crackles and the noises that this thing makes, there we go. No braking ability. Cup 2s in these conditions. This is absolutely savage, genuinely. I'm kind of amazed at how bad it is. I mean, I knew it would be bad. Traction is just on every second, constantly telling me, what on earth are you doing? I might even let some of the other cars go because I just feel like I'm teetering on the edge even though I'm barely moving. This must be quite a fascinating video in terms of the grip levels. Understeering, Where's Misha when I need him? Understeering big time, oversteering. How on earth do I drive this? Understeering on the brakes. Oh, I feel like one of those F1 laps where you just see somebody make the wrong call. Lando. Where it just all goes horribly wrong. Maybe I should turn traction a little bit looser and just see what the car will let me do. One press into ESC sport mode, because it's so unbalanced. Like, this is just silly, honestly. Silly. I don't think I've ever done a slipperier lap on a racetrack. Oh, slipping again. I just cannot get any traction out of this at all. Understeering all the way here. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I can't get my head around how little grip I have. Just understeer straight into oversteer. I mean, it's fun, but that's not what's supposed to happen. Understeering here. I'm literally understeering right now at 65 kilometers an hour. And then oversteering. Good luck trying to get around here cleanly in a car like this. We've got some photographers from Racetrack are out, braving the conditions. Let me just... I can't give it any power. It's so funny. Any front-driven car or four-wheel drive car here, massively better. There's so little grip. Obviously, there's a lot of rubber on the tarmac anyway, from various races and things. Just don't know what to do. Feed in the power gently. I didn't expect it to be so challenging. That, I think, is my biggest surprise right now. A GT Black Series is, of course, one of the fastest cars that you could drive around somewhere like this in the right conditions. But today, it's one of the slowest. One of the absolute slowest. I'm sure in the hands of Maro Engel, who of course has the lap record, or had the lap record in one of these prior to the AMG 1, it would be a significant chunk faster than I'm risking taking it round. But for today, I don't know what would be the point. It's just absolutely impossible understeering as we go round. As soon as I try and feed in the power, it's just going to be a massive oversteer again. I mean, if I even try to give it some throttle in the corner, car says no. Or tyres say no, maybe I should say. I mean, it's fun, but it's not what's supposed to happen. Not what's supposed to happen at all. I think that calls the end of our session. I need to go and decide if I'm going to chance another one or if that's just game over. I don't know what to say. Oh dearie me. Facepalm. Oh. Utterly useless. Utterly useless in every way. Oh boy. So silly. Yes, I'm an idiot. We've gone straight through. We're going out again because once wasn't enough. With this, car's still set exactly as it was as we go down the pit lane. It's probably quite hard to explain on the video because it must look stupid. I must look like a complete idiot. But in reality, it's actually quite fun because of how challenging and how difficult this actually is. Like, it's hard to explain it, I think. Just, I have no grip. No grip. like here, hold it, hold it, hold it. Let's let this BMW go through. He's come round for some more fun as well. I think he probably knows where to go, should follow his line. Slightly obviously out from the apex, down the hill. Maybe I'm not going to be the slowest person this time. Oh, still understeering. Past the original 1 Series, which is of course also rear-wheel drive. This is an all-wheel drive Champions Day, 100%. I kind of wish I was here with the Focus RS right now. That would be so much more suited to it. I'm glad I'm not here with my Clio V6. That's the wrong way around. You can't park there. Oh gosh. I don't know. Stay out from the apex. Cross the normal racing line. Stay out from the apex. Getting a little bit better. Right, stay away from the apex of these curves. Wait for it, then cross the line. Okay, that's not the direction I wanted to go in. Just do not get overconfident, because it's only going to go one way. Just even feeding in the throttle, I'm at like 35%, 40% on the throttle. I've got a chart on the dynamic display in front of me. One of the funny things about this video and these 2 sessions out on the Nürburgring GP is that I've probably just given Brad the most horrible time possible trying to edit together a whole load of very slow, very slidey video clips. It's not what I necessarily had hoped for springtime, early summer out here at the Nürburgring, but hey, we're managing, we're having some fun. At the end of the day, that's still like 90-something miles an hour coming down the hill in these conditions. Even on the motorway at 60 odd on the way here, we were slipping and sliding in places, so I guess I'm not really that surprised. Tyres at the end of the day are absolutely critical in these kind of situations, but we're getting a little bit more grip there. It's just taking time. Tyre temps are only about 25 to 30 degrees across the whole range. Up the hill. Yeah, it's on the edge. It's amazing to think that this isn't that fast, but it's literally on the edge of what we've got here. This place is famous for its treacherous weather, and today is one of those days. Come into it fully gung-ho, giving it everything, you're probably not going home, not in one piece anyway. And I think that's the most important thing. Have some fun, bring the car back, hopefully, with many smiles, some great photos from Racetracker, and a story to tell that's ended as positively as it can. Try and give it a little bit more down here. That's as much as I dare. I'm just worried about when it's going to snap on me like there as you go over the crest and touch the white painted lines. It's, I said it before, it's treacherous. It's absolutely treacherous. I don't know what to do. It just goes. It just constantly goes. Well, this is certainly the last lap, and I'm very happy about it, because I kind of want to just go into the pit lane, park up and be like, I'm out for today. This has been really good fun, but the most bizarre experience, the most bizarre, complete lack of any control. I can't believe how bad it is, like how slippy it is. But hey, this is where we are. We're in one piece. That's what matters. We're back home. I had fun. It's been mega. I'm gonna park up and just contemplate life and why I'm doing this to myself, because at the moment I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend this is lovely, because it's definitely not, but we have made it back in one piece, and at the end of the day that's what matters. We made it over here. In fact, I don't know how many miles the car actually has. I'm probably going to need to do a quick conversion here. This is one I probably should have confirmed earlier. So we've got 32,142 kilometers. 32,142 kilometers. Have we gone through 20,000 miles? This is what I'm going to check up literally on the fly, because 32,142 kilometers in miles, because if we've now done 20,000 miles, 19,972. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. That's part of the purpose of being here. We're going to stop by at Opus to do a 20,000 mile inspection, really, to see how the car's held up. It's done a whole load of track days since it was last with them. It's done, obviously, a whole lot of travel around the world. It's been in hot climates, it's been on snow and cold climates, and it's done everything a car like this is supposed to do. In fact, it's probably done more than a car like this is ever supposed to do, which is super cool. Plus, another thing to go and film while we're here, and also some laps of the Nordschleife. Fingers, toes, everything, arms crossed that it's not going to be like this, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a write-off. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.